Hi everyone, I'm John Pavlak and welcome back to another edition of Eye on Harness Racing. Harness Racing's focus shifted this past weekend from Delaware, Ohio to Lexington, Kentucky, where the first of 2 weeks of Grand Circuit action took place, in which the $600,000 Kentucky Futurity was the feature. Muscle Hill went into the Futurity as the overwhelming favorite and did not disappoint his legion of fans. In his elimination, he got the lead early and won by 3 3/4 lengths in 152 3. And in the final, he was equally dominant and won in 151 1.
Muscle Hill wrapped up by Brian Sears. Explosive manner giving Feudal chase. Here is a champion. Here is one of the greatest ever. Muscle Hill in the Kentucky Futurity.
The conditions weren't there, but I do have total confidence. If you had what we had here a couple of years ago, Kentucky Futurity Day was a hot, humid day. I think he could have gone 2 halves of 54 3. That's my opinion.
Trotting fillies were showcased one day earlier in the $378,000 filly Kentucky Futurity, in which 21 sophomore fillies went to post in 3 eliminations. At the end of the day, Seaside duplicated her wire-to-wire elimination win with another front-stepping 154 victory in the second and final heat.
Seaside is getting out for team winner, and Seaside wins the Kentucky Filly Futurity.
In news from around the sport of harness racing, many people have speculated in the past few weeks about the future of the Red Mile, given the recent announcement about developing part of the track's valuable property. Several weeks ago, the Red Mile announced it wanted to develop some of its property for retail and entertainment use, giving rise to speculation about the future of racing in Lexington. Joe Costa, the Red Mile's president, spoke with our TJ Burkett about the project.
We look at it as a long-term strategy, as real estate development and entertainment is part of the revenue model here for the Red Mile going forward. A lot of people don't realize that we're surrounded by 7,000 students in the various housing complex that you've seen go up recently. So they need a place to bank, they need a place to get a cup of coffee, and so we believe there's real estate opportunities servicing the local new development surrounding us.
Hi, I'm Corey Callahan, and this is King. King was adopted from the Kent County SPCA and is now an important family member and a harness racing fan. But hundreds of dogs and cats in Delaware are not so lucky, either abandoned or given up by their families and now need a new home. I hope you'll join me at Harrington Raceway on Sunday, October 11th, post time 5:15, to meet some of the great pets the SPCA has to offer, and bring along some pet food to help feed them until they find a new home. I'll be signing photos and you'll be entered in a drawing for dinner at Bones if you bring some pet food. See you October 11th at Harrington Raceway, post time 5:15. You might just find a friend for life, like King here.
Shadow Play, one of the sport's top 4-year-old pacers who will race in this coming weekend's Allerege Pace final, was in Lexington earlier this week, and in fact he had a very interesting week. Just 4 days before this past Saturday's Allerege Pace elimination, he couldn't find a track at which to qualify in Canada, so trainer and co-owner Ian Moore brought him to the Red Mile. His van arrived about 1 a.m. He got onto the track by 9 a.m. and then promptly sped to a 152 1 qualifying win. And then this past Saturday, he finished 5th in the all-rage eliminations, and he'll race this coming Saturday in the all-rage final.
I didn't really want to do that to him, but he is tough, and he did take it. But I noticed last night when I got here, he didn't appear to be too happy in the stall. He had an incident with a mare here a couple of days before as well that kind of set him off a bit. So hopefully, I think he is tough and he will recover from this, and I think it'll set him up good for next week.
Elsewhere this past weekend, Pennsylvania's finest freshmen were showcased in the Pennsylvania Sire Stakes finals at the Meadows, where more than $1 million in purses were handed out. One More Laugh, who wrote headlines on September 20th at Harris Chester when he became the sport's fastest freshman on a 5/8 mile track, confirmed that class with a 150 2 win this past Tuesday evening, the fastest of the night.
Has the lead. Fashion Heart trying to close the gap, but can't. It's all One More Laugh and Tim Tetrick. 150 2, another stakes record.
Our contest last week had asked who caused the two tire blowouts when Super Bowl won the 1972 Kentucky Futurity. Andreas Wikingson, who watches in Abenberg, Sweden, knew that the answer was Songcan, and for his efforts he'll receive a copy of 100 Years in Harness with our congratulations and our thanks. Here is another challenge. Since Dragon Lair's upset of Annihilator in 1984, there have been many upsets in the Breeders' Crown. In 2008, a filly became the longest price winner in Crown history, returning $152 to win. The question is simply, who was she? Send your name, address, and your answer, of course, in an email to us at i@ustrotting.com. From among the correct entrants, we'll select the winner. This week, a poster featuring Dave Pallone, the newest driving member of the Hall of Fame, with Dave's autograph, will be our contest prize. As always, we'd love to hear from you. Send your questions, comments to i@ustrotting.com. Well, that's it for this week. Next week, our eye will be turned toward the Allerege Pace, toward the Tattersall's Pace, and of course the big sale at Lexington, Kentucky. Our cameras will be there, and we want you to be with us next week on Eye on Harness Racing. Once again, I'm John Pavlak. Thanks for watching. As we leave you, we'd like to add our applause to that of the racing fans in Lexington, where Mr Muscleman was retired in trackside ceremonies this past Saturday.
And he's just so special, and whenever I see him, my heart still stops to beat, and I love him to death.